we still live? Oh, okay. Well, Alan goes ahead and fixes the... I didn't know what's going on. Well, Alan goes ahead and fixes it. We have a couple announcements. Welcome, everybody. This is week 3 of our stream. We love this. We hope you do, too. If you enjoy what you do, make sure you give us a shout-out. Twitter, at D&D Natural 20, Facebook, Natural_20, and Instagram at Natural20 D&D. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think. We do release in podcast form. And on YouTube.
I'm late. My bad.
Alan's a little late. But check us out on YouTube, podcasts, wherever you can get your podcasts. Rate, review us. Let us know what you think. That really helps us get the word out there. And thanks for the love, everybody.
Yep. Thank you very much, Steven. Thank you for your patience as I fix the webcam. That's on me. Hashtag DMProbs. Outside of that, the only other things that I'd like to highlight. Number 1, our wonderful friends over at the Crafty Gamer Shop. The Crafty Gamer, right? The Crafty Gamer.
The Crafty Gamer.
The
Crafty Gamer. Confirmation. I am also wearing their swag. You can't see it, but if I ever stand up, it says, "Don't mess with the Dungeon Master." The last time I wore this with this group, I think one of you died.
That sounds right. I usually do die.
The holder? No, I think
no.
It was that.
Or was it the?
I mean,
was
which
it the other
time
one?
were we talking about when I died?
No. Actually, yeah, for you, no, that's
Yeah.
Are you
the
talking
one
about,
that's stuck.
Are you talking about Leaf?
Yeah.
Oh, you're.
What were you wearing?
Yeah, you did die.
Zargon?
Leaf too.
Leaf?
Yeah,
Zargon?
No. That was. I was wearing just a nondescript shirt in that.
Because you also have the other one from
Death Saves.
Death Saves.
You
Yes.
just got mad that I got all Jedi on you.
Listen, that was some dope ass telekinesis. It was. I can't even be mad about
I
that.
can't wait to take that spell.
I can't
What?
even be upset.
Yeah,
Why would you take spells?
I'm a wizard, man. You know this. TJ
What?
knows this.
You told him he was.
Yeah, you told me I was a
that's
wizard,
true.
apparently.
I did tell you you're a wizard.
Literally, it was like, no, you moved your hand and shit happened. Anyway, but we're gonna get back into what happened last time.
We digress.
Yeah, we do digress. All right, so let me get myself set up here. Y'all, I have so many rule books over here. It's not even funny.
There's more than one book.
There's so many books and stuff and books.
Books a million.
All literally for D&D, it is
I'm
straight
sorry,
up books a million.
Pants, I'm just sorry.
Is okay.
Is okay. All
I
right,
don't like where that's
so
going.
let's dive into what happened last time on Natural 20. So, you all, after camping for not 1, not 2, but 3 evenings at the top of Jarro's Peak.
You missed a hell of a party.
You honestly really fucking did. But hey, maybe next year. You all now saw a completed view of what was 7 arches shimmering in luminescent silvery gray green light, seemingly solid and represented at the pinnacle of the verdant equinox, I believe. Yes, the verdant equinox. Yes, bringing in spring. After mulling over for many days what you wanted to do in this expanse, the final eve coming, you all greeted a large figure who seemingly shifted and displayed all of the accoutrement that you were carrying, from a glaive to a staff to or a cane, my apologies, to some daggers, as well as a warhammer. In speaking with each of you, and for speaking for some period of time post facto, you all learned he was a representative of a group of individuals called the Vertari, who were tasked with, as he put it, keeping balance with, for what you did not necessarily know. He continued to speak about the space between places, protecting his own home realm, which he called the Feywild, which was the Feywild. In this time, after speaking, he requested that you all aid in bringing back a young child who had been lost through a rift opening between the planes, and he would, as his last act, attempt to bring the plane to you so that you might rescue this young girl from being trapped there for a long period of time. Initially suspicious and not necessarily sure of the truth of what was occurring, Kylandy and Carter harkened back on some knowledge they had read from a journal found in the library of Calder. You all, after much deliberation, decided to take up this individual and entity on their request and rescue the small girl. Before you did, he in good faith gave you a warning of a friend and fellow guardian who had become corrupted through a source he was unable to necessarily locate, called, as I flip through
Kurotak.
my brain, Kurotak.
Oh.
Nice notes. I dig the
Wow.
notes.
Damn.
Oh, I was ready.
I wrote that down.
Now I gotta look some shit up so I can't.
Kurotak.
Kurotak.
I never forget.
What are you, an elephant?
Yeah, right. As an elephant. Go figure. So, you all, as his last act, he reached into the ground at the top of Jaro's Peak in the middle of these 7 arches, pulling forth a overlay of the Feywild to this location, where the space between spaces was quite thin, able to be manipulated in this rift. You were all introduced to the wonderful, bright expanse that was the Feywild. While one of you, Harlan, ran to find the small child, the rest of you, wandered a bit, investigated the area, established a perimeter, and ultimately had Kurotak come and engage with you. As a final act, this individual used the majority of its energy to attempt to weaken the beast. You, Babar, seeing this massive entity decrease in size and be covered in this strange ethereal shroud as you engaged with it itself quite weakened. After engaging in combat for some time, with Kylandy falling unconscious, it's becoming a trend.
That's-
Fair enough, right? You do you.
It was the second combat this time, technically.
True.
That is true. It wasn't the first combat.
there were bears, weren't there?
There were.
Yeah.
Not werebears, though.
Not werebears.
Just regular bears.
Yeah, regular bears.
100% better than last campaign, buddy.
Literally.
Hey,
at
cheers
this-
to me.
You're batting 1,000
Cheers
at this
to me.
point. Yeah. Batting 1,000. You all engaged with this entity, eventually felling it. And as the Vertari representative called you back to the massive tree that had shown great corruption, he was able to once again bridge the rift, carrying you all through back onto the prime material plane, or at least alleviating the covering of Feywild that he had brought, or was able to enable for the short period of time. The true magic or science, what have you, of it, you aren't necessarily able to understand at this current point in time. But nevertheless, you are brought back to the prime material plane proper, with Alice in tow, once again walking back to Calder to attempt to return her to the village. In that time, you learn that Alice only assumed she had been in the Feywild for about 2 days, and Carter and Harlan recognized that they had lost a significant portion of memory based on the time where this overlay of the plane of Fey had occurred, right? Lost that memory. After returning to Calder
Best
and
roll
reintroducing
ever.
Alice to her family,
2-1.
led by Bernard, you all took a moment, found some slight respite as Lucy Morehouse welcomed you back to the Slippery Griffin so that you might partake in food and drink in celebration that you all had returned after disappearing once again for 3 days after talking about a day-long scouting mission. But in any case,
Is free country.
It is
was
here.
Good camping
Are
trip.
you sure? You've only been here a week.
Babar doesn't know. He assumes.
But you don't know.
His figure of
For
speech.
me,
Apparently.
that whole thing.
Fuck it.
Yeah, right? So, in this instance, as we once again gather together, we pick up where we left off, with all of you bedding down for the evening. Some of you already passed out and asleep. The rest of you, if there's anything you would like to do, feel free to do so. I know that Kylandy, you were bedding down. Carter, you were bedding down in the room.
I was going to do some studying and
Gotcha.
some equations.
Works for me.
Not so much
Babar?
bedding down as it was barricading down there.
That too.
You
Yeah. I locked that shit up.
locking up the bed, his room. Babar.
Harlan walked by, we had a brief conversation, he walked in and I followed in and would go to
Do
bed
that.
because I was real hurt.
Yep. Harlan, you went upstairs as well?
Yeah, I went to bed as soon as I got back so that I could possibly get up early.
Gotcha. So, for frame of reference, all of you bedded down at approximately, at the latest, noon.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is up to you how you would use that time. For the rest of you, if you would like to bed down until early the next morning, that is totally acceptable for those of you who would like to. I know for Kylandy, you really only need your 4 hours of meditation, so if you would like to take that, you would awaken at mid-afternoon with a bit of time left at your leisure.
I'd probably just spend my time in the tavern.
Got it. Would you be looking to do anything specifically as patrons came in and out, or just kind of sit and observe?
Just listening to hear what I could hear.
All right, so give me a perception check, and we can kind of do that. I'll give you what you would have heard over that period of time.
Would a short rest be enough to prevent exhaustion until being able to rest tonight? I don't know when I'll be exhausted.
So I would say it would be, but you would only have about another 3 or 4 hours.
Because we've been up.
Yeah, you've been up for... You had a long rest that was interrupted, and then you were up for a period of time. Taking that short rest, I say, would delay any constitution saves. Right? It wouldn't just be, snap, you're exhausted. It would delay the constitution save process until a little bit later.
If I could just get a short rest in and then...
No, spend any hit die you'd like in that
I
period of time.
don't need to.
I don't
I'm just
think-
trying to prevent exhaustion. To be
Got it.
honest.
You took a nap.
19.
Yeah, basically.
19. So as you watch the patrons coming out for about the next 5 or 6 hours, really, you hear a number of things. The majority of which are gossip around the town of specifically individuals who are extremely excited that Alice has been returned. Towards later in the day, you start to get messages that Alice only thinks that it has actually been 2 days, as opposed to what you all would have recognized at this point. Actually, no, you wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have heard. Has only been for 2 days, although most of the town folks are convinced that it has been longer, but they are kind of hushing that up. A little bit of trepidation in discussing that. You kind of hear a little bit of just the undertones of, "Oh, I don't understand that magic. Quite strange. But at least she's back to us. She's been returned." Just that kind of general sentiment throughout the town itself. Not necessarily like severe distrust or anger, but just lack of understanding. Along with a couple of other interesting rumors in the area. You would have heard more and more that there is, because of the number of people who are still here from the Festival of Candlenight, there is increased rumor and credence to goblin activity happening to the north of Calder, about a week's travel. Well, so about 8 to 10 days south of Falstad, which sits about 2.5, so about 17 days worth of travel to the north of Calder, your current location, and just below the Unole Desert. You would be familiar with this because Fort Oxhold sits at about a week's, no more, at about 10 days travel to the northwest of Falstad. So you would have heard the name before.
Okay.
And be familiar, while you're not necessarily familiar with what happens in Falstad, you know of the location. You would have also heard, frankly, a lot of grumbling about the merchants and farmers who had been there for the festival, attempting to prepare themselves to have to pack up their goods and leave. And there's a lot of essentially procrastination is what you're hearing. They're like, come on in and have a beer. And they'll sit down for a while, engage in conversation. They just don't want to leave, right? They'd enjoyed the revelry of the night previous. They're all tired because you gather the purpose of Candle Night is to stay up all night to see this equinox. But it's just a general sense of relief. There's some worry with regard to increased activity in the area. Some worry of what the spring will bring and things of that nature, but for the most part, people are in good spirits, if weary.
Okay.
Okay. While that is happening, Harlan, you took a short rest?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to do?
Number one, I would like to figure out which room Babar is in and scribble a note and slide it under his door.
I would say, given you two both went upstairs around the same time, you would know.
Okay.
He's in the space. There are 3 rooms in an L shape.
Part A
1, 2,
solved.
3.
Part B, write
Yep.
the note and slide it under his door.
All right. Yep.
And then I need to leave. But is Kia Landy downstairs?
At this point, after your long rest,
Short.
after your short rest rather, but Kia's long rest, he would not have been. It would still be about an hour or so until Kia is downstairs. Kaya. Thank you.
Kaya?
Kaya.
Not with my accent.
Kia. It's Kaya. I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, his
at home.
4-hour meditation, right? So
Yeah, I
it
would
would
have
be the same
been
amount of
out
time.
for 4
His
hours.
short rest is an hour. And writing the note and doing any sort of like
And his is
preparations and
4.
cleaning. Yeah.
I don't know why it matters to me.
You
I'm
still have
asleep.
some time. You'd have plenty of time.
Okay, so I'm going to slide that note under his door and then I'm going to leave and I'm going to find the post.
Find the what?
Post or somewhere to get a letter
Oh, okay.
out of here.
Give me a general investigation check. Starting off strong.
Ooh. Nice.
It's a 1.
It's a. You ask around for a while. It takes you the better part of about an hour and a half. It's a small town, and you find yourself just looking for the normal signposts and. For
After 30 minutes, I will go to Alice's house and ask them to take me to the post.
So after about 30 minutes, you show up, and Bernard is he answers the door. Oh yeah, Mr. Hart, it's good to see you, sir. How might I assist
I'm
you?
so very sorry to bother you. I'm just looking to mail a letter, and
Oh.
I cannot find where to do it here.
You actually, it's strange and cold. You go to the temple. I'll take you.
Okay, great.
And
Thank you.
He just gets out and wanders with you, kind of sharing pleasantries on your travel. Anything you specific you'd like to ask him, or in this walk, or no?
Not particularly, no. I mean, I'll just get general how is Alice adjusting, but it's only been an hour or
Yeah.
2, so...
You gather that Alice has fallen asleep in this period of time, kind of seemingly the exhaustion of the last couple of days in her ordeal really setting in, and she just falls asleep in exhaustion. He takes you to the temple itself and walks you inside, introducing you to the high priest that is there by the name of, he says, this here is Braudmore. And there's a dwarven man who's wearing vestments of just deep, they're just a light ivory that kind of flow over his form. He has a bald head, but a very thick beard of a nice amber color, and he's looked at you with bright green eyes. Great to see you, sir. How might I be of assistance?
I'm just looking to mail a letter off to Port Thornstead.
We can certainly take care of it for you. It's going to be about 4 to 5 days travel by horse.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but this is where I come to do that?
Absolutely. We can get it set up, and I can take it with one of my my stable boys. Yeah.
Do you have a writing desk anywhere in here?
Absolutely, and he kind of gestures you inside his office itself, and he sets out a piece of parchment and paper. Normally we only charge about 2 copper pieces for this. Actually, it's a short distance, so it's no problem for us. So, hope that's all right.
That'll be fine. I'll settle up when I'm done.
Perfect.
Right,
All right,
okay,
I'll leave you be.
thanks.
And he steps out of his office for a moment, seemingly engaged in conversation with Bernard, who has not left the locale.
Okay. And then I'm going to spend the rest of the day writing a letter to High Lord Lightwalker.
All right.
So, and I can let you know what that says, but
Please do.
Okay.
No worries. I will await your message with bated breath. Later.
Okay.
Later.
Okay. Then
So-
that's it, and I'll return after that's done.
Okay. As you return, you would see Kaya. At this juncture, it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7 p.m. Kaya sitting at one of the isolated tables in the back of the Slippery Griffin. You see him sitting, kind of fiddling with a beer or an ale, what have you.
A mead.
A mead! fiddling with a mead. At one of the back
Can you do
tables
that in
of
public?
the bar itself, just
Okay.
very clearly leaned back, listening, observing, and kind of soaking in the conversation around him.
Is Lucy around?
Lucy's behind the bar, kind of chatting up everybody else in the vicinity, and they're along the L-shaped bar, which would be about 10 to 15 feet in front of Kaya at the back table, where you all had sat previously, right? She's just chatting up about 4 or 5 other patrons, sharing in the gossip. From what you can gather, kind of downloading about Alice and the local rumors, and kind of not necessarily aiding the merchants and farmers in their efforts to leave, more aiding them in terms of staying and getting progressively more enjoyment out of both the conversation, food, and drink.
Miss Lucy,
Oh, yeah. Yes, dear.
may I take dinner in my room this evening?
Of course you may. Do you have any preference, or just what we're serving?
Just what you're serving.
All right.
Thank you.
Bring it up for you.
And I'm upstairs.
All right. Good to see you, Harlan. And you see her write down the order, and you move up the stairs. At this point, Kaya, you would have seen Harlan come in and take the order and head upstairs.
Oh, I'll nod at you. I'm not like ignoring you or
Yeah.
anything. I'm
No.
just not interested in.
I'll tip my glass too.
You get a glass tip from Kaya. You make your way upstairs into the room. So, with that, if there is no other business, I will say you all awaken the next morning. Well rested, a long rest received, the new skills and abilities that you would gather from your most recent level. Huzzah.
I would have done some equationing before I went to sleep.
I'll make a prayer and remeditate in the wee hours.
You
So-
got it.
I would have gotten a long rest and woken up at like what, 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything you'd like to do in that time?
I mean, once I wake up, I imagine I would be very hungry,
Yes.
and I would see the note slid under my door.
That you would.
Hold, please.
Please do hold. I'm in a holding pattern.
Okay. So I would wake up and walk out and
Yes.
head down to the bar.
Okay.
Is Lucy down there?
Yes, Lucy would at this point still have kind of been serving. She would actually just have a plate of food prepped and ready and be walking up the stairs.
Lucy,
Hi, hello there, Babar. Good to see ya.
you
You look well rested.
You wanted to talk.
Oh, I just wanted to see how you're doing. You look sad, love.
Oh, I am good.
All right, good.
I slept very well.
I'm very happy to hear it. I'm actually taking this food up to your friend Harlan. Do you want a plate as well? I'll prepare it when I get back down.
Vegetables, yes.
Just vegetables across the way.
Yes.
Perfect. I can do that for you.
Do
of
you
course,
need
dear.
vegetables?
No. We just had the festival, dear.
Okay. I have some if you need.
Perfect. All right, great. I'll keep that in mind. It's a bit odd, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
I will sit here at the stone table.
All right. Yeah, your friend Kai is there as well.
I'll make my way and sit down.
All right. I'll bring you a plate of food, and you see her kind of up the stairs. It's at this point, Harlan, you being as observant as you are, to have heard the familiar creaking sound of Babar's familiar form and weight making his way down the stairs, and that conversation quite loudly, and a soft little Mr. Harlan, I have your food there, your dinner.
I will answer the door.
She opens it and she's holding a tray of food. It seems to be filled to the brim with a variety of roasted potatoes covered in herbs, along with braised carrots and all sorts of other vegetables from the...
We're like totally resting now, right?
Absolutely.
I am in a kimono.
All right. She's
Like, I
explaining
am
to
just relaxing.
she's explaining to you the
Important
meal.
detail.
I am in a
Silk?
robe.
Is
I
it
am
silk?
not in armor. I am relaxing. It is, yes, it's fucking silk.
Nice. Oh, I'm jealous.
Damn.
Shoes? No
The
shoes?
perks of
Barefoot?
level
Barefoot,
3, everybody.
definitely.
You get a kimono.
The perks of level 3.
perks of
Magic
level
kimono
3.
in my
You're just like
shit.
sitting on your bed, with, like stretching out your toes.
Yes, I am relaxing and having me time.
That's it. So as she's
I
explaining,
want a mask on my face, like a green, avocado face mask, like
Pop
over
off
my
the
eyes.
cucumber.
Yes.
Hey, skincare is important.
It is,
No matter where
absolutely.
you are,
Even in D&D.
everybody at home, skincare. We live in Florida, so we have to.
Next
anyway,
week, we're all going to start with face masks.
Cucumbers.
tasty.
Don't forget
As
them.
she approaches and explains the
Doesn't
meal,
do
she
anything,
observes. She
just
goes,
for the taste.
"That's a nice kimono you got there." Anyway, here's your meal, and she kind of hands it off to you. I hope you enjoy. If you need anything else,
Would you prefer this look in your common room? Honestly.
I mean, I'm not against it, actually.
Well,
I've
that's
seen
why
stranger
I'm going
things.
to be up
actually.
here for the evening. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's totally fine. Listen, it's not a knock. I've seen stranger things. I actually quite like it. Where'd you get it?
What?
Where'd you actually buy it?
I honestly don't remember.
All right, we'll have to touch base
I
on that
get it
later.
back home.
Oh, okay. Well, here you go. And she kind of hands it and then good-naturedly begins walking away and back down the stairs. Just, you gather that she is very, just
Impressed.
in general, very happy, relieved. You get a great sensation of relief that you all are safe and here and have returned with a member of Calder. And she is soaking in the good vibes as much as she can, just here to have a good time and just is generally feeling good. She kind of leaves into the... You see her come down the stairs, Kaya and Babar, and she
I
immediately
have
sets
spa
to work.
time.
And
I
you
love it.
take a spa rest, Harlan. Babar and Kaya.
Good morning, Babar.
Is not morning, is night.
What time is it?
It's about 8 p.m. at this point.
Oh,
Is the bar like
thought it was-
bumping or
evening.
You are still upstairs at this point. If you'd like to come down.
okay? But like, can I hear
cannot
anything?
hear you over this DJ.
See anything out the window? Are
I'd
people
say,
out on the street?
given the activities that you're currently engaged in, I'd say give me a perception check with disadvantage.
I am sorry
14.
that you
Nothing
you
out of
fed.
the ordinary. I mean,
I like peek out
I
the window.
remember
like,
that.
people walking.
It's okay.
some,
I
but all just kind of
obviously
general
came
milling
back.
You touched your chest and came to life.
I did.
So you can heal.
I can heal me, I suppose.
It does not work on others.
I don't know.
In Feywild it work on others. You should try.
Maybe I will.
I am glad you are okay though.
Thank you. You too. You took a beating.
I do not really remember.
It was not good.
It hurt.
About halfway through this conversation, you see Lucy approach with just a plate of what look to be steamed and roasted vegetables, a varietal kind of taken from. She's gone all out at this juncture, and has brought to you everything from the stands that she could have possibly gathered over the festival and the past couple of days, and kind of serves it on a plate to you. Herb roasted, very well seasoned. Some of it you could swear is actually smoked. Just a delightful spread.
Smoked potatoes.
Would you like to try some?
Yes. Yes, I would.
And I will just start devouring.
Got it. As you dive in, you kind of see Babar just trunk back, devour the
Like a
food.
necktie over my shoulders. Just
Eat everything. And you're able to just kind of barely sneak in and
I'll
grab
snatch
a
a
couple
thing here or
vegetables.
there.
Yeah, just kind of in between deep breaths as Babar is heartily consuming his meal. You are able to grab a number of vegetables.
1, 2, 3.
They're tasty and delicious.
I mean, that's a good. Yeah. So, what did bring you here?
Honestly, Cord has just sent me out to hunt the beasts.
Who would I know Cord?
Give me a religion check.
How long have I been in my room?
At this point, you've been in your room for about 8 hours.
Okay.
14.
14. You are unfamiliar with any sort of pantheon outside of what you know from the Feywild. You know what the name is in terms of context. You're not necessarily sure what they represent or what they stand for. It's difficult for you to place given your.
Like contextually, like okay.
Based on this conversation, you can understand he's somebody of semi-import, right? But specifically, it's lost on you.
So, killing beasts is your calling.
It is my call to honor Cord.
Cord is one of your gods.
Is my god.
Interesting. And he doesn't let you heal others.
It is not spoken one way or the other.
Interesting. Prime Material Plane is very weird place.
Agreed.
Anything else you all would like to do for the evening?
No.
No? Okay.
I would make my way back up.
All right. After consuming your meal, you both make your way back as the night draws to a close.
Riveting conversation.
So you heal, but not other. Okay. Weird. That's the TLD.
Yep, 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 nope, 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 yep, yep, nope,
Yep.
nope, nope.
Yeah, let's say, that's like the TLDR of that conversation. Like, so healing, right? After this evening of kind of contemplation, reviewing the events of the day prior, feeling a new sense of power in each of you, you all bed down finally for a long rest. Harlan leaving your plate of food just outside the door. And once more, move into a long rest. So, the following morning, you awake, the sun is risen, the day is yours, it is quite early. What would you like to do?
I would love to go to that oddities shop,
Oddities.
Breakfast.
like the herbalist.
Oh, gotcha. All right, first thing you'd like to do in the morning?
Well, once I know it's open, because I went the other day and it was not open yet.
So as you awaken this morning after
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
you found yourself even more exhausted than you would have imagined after a day of essentially the events of the morning, the travel back to Calder, the day spent in study, almost a panicked study. You awoke a little bit later than you originally were there at the early morning hour. I'd say you guys would place yourselves at around 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, as you awaken the second time around, just kind of bringing yourself to and ready to go for the day. So, you would like to head to the herbalist? What would
Mhm.
anybody else like to do?
I mean, we're in Calder, right?
You are.
And they talked about.
That is in fact the location where you
After
currently
breakfast,
are.
I wanted to go to the blacksmith.
So you go down to breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That works. So you are down for breakfast? I would say that we'll place that for this morning.
I mean,
Did
I
you-
would wake up and make my way down.
All right, down. Are you going to go for food or are you going to go straight to the herbalist?
I'm going to go straight to the herbalist because
right.
I forget to eat
Got it. You make your
frequently.
That's important.
You shouldn't do that.
I know I shouldn't, but Carter forgets to eat all the time.
You make your way out and on your way to the herbalist. Harlan, anything you'd like to do?
Wake up leisurely.
Got it. You kind of wake up, yawn, bring yourself to. You
Robe
understand it's early
Huh?
morning.
Robe on or off at this point? Do you sleep in the robe? The kimono, sorry.
Why would I sleep in the kimono?
Do you
I don't-
sleep naked?
With 2 Ks.
Yes, 2K.
We digress.
No, I sleep in full armor at all times for canon, so you know.
I am forever in full armor always. Kimono over armor.
You guys aren't?
I don't wear armor. On the
all
way
right.
to the herbalist, like I'm consistently like looking at the people walking past me.
All right. Give me a perception.
Seeing
check.
if they're busy,
Yeah.
distracted. Just perception, you said?
Yep, just a perception.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. Looking about, there are very few people. You can gather it's kind of a leisurely morning anyway.
Okay.
People are still generally recovering from the festival and the events of the day
only one who
prior.
knows that.
So there are very few people out and about. From what you gather, most of them are kind of leisurely and some of them a bit hungover, going about their morning routine. It all seems very much routine. There's
Is there
nothing-
a person that's very, very hungover?
With that roll, you see a halfling gentleman who, with kind of tousled black hair, who's wearing a bit of a finer tunic and dark leather breeches, who's just kind of rubbing his eyes, just walking out, and you just kind of see him. Oh Lord, the head. Oh. God."
Does he have a coin pouch?
He, with that roll, you would notice he does not.
Okay.
just kind of leisurely walking down the thoroughfare across the fountain and away, kind of in a perpendicular-like direction to your trajectory.
Okay.
Pretty leisurely, not a huge population, and most of them are kind of coming out of the comatose state of the night prior.
Does anybody have a coin purse on them?
You only see about 5 people, and of them, there's only 2 that you would see kind of close to you in the vicinity. They both do not.
Okay. That's fine.
No.
I'll continue my way.
You got it. Making your way to the herbalist. It is, as you approach the exterior, you see the familiar sign, the cordial burrow that you had approached the day prior. Oh no, not the day. 4 days ago. Looking at it, you see that there is a light coming from the interior and the sounds of busied work inside.
Cordial Burrow?
The cordial burrow. Yes. B-U-R-R-O-U-G-H.
Alright, I'll go ahead and go in.
All right. Making your way inside, you are greeted by a very stout-looking halfling gentleman. He has blonde hair that is slicked back very heavily, although at this point some of the front of the hair lies askew and almost shades the left portion of his face. He has his sleeves rolled up of a white, what looks to be cloth shirt, covered in what looks to be stains with a variety of different materials. Looking around the space, you see that there is a setting of about 2 tables, small and circular, with 3 wooden chairs that are seated around each. There are a number of bookshelves throughout this room, which is not large, but is comfortably sized.
Mm-hmm.
There is a doorway that you look to your left behind what is a counter, where you see a stairway that moves up to the 2nd floor of this location, presumably the abode of the individual. As you make your way inside, you hear him look up and say, "Oh, well, oh there. What brings you into the cordial burrow?"
Howdy. I was passing through town, and someone told me that you are the person to find if you're interested in oddities, or...
Well, I suppose some people might see these things as odd.
Right. Color me intrigued.
What is exactly that you had in mind?
What do you got that's out there?
Well, if you're
Any
not
books?
interested in plants, books. I have books about plants,
Okay.
books about farming, books about... I got books about the brewing of herbal remedies of sorts. I've got books about... Nope. That about covers it.
All right. Anything,
I also have some of the vials of things that I have prepared from the books about brewing herbal remedies.
Think he has any books about the books about herbal remedies?
good.
well, let me see what you got.
Well, step on in, get up the door frame.
I come in.
He kind of steps down from behind. What you see is a pretty high stool behind the counter, and you see the top of his head bob as he walks across the counter, exiting behind you, and he's, well, if you look here, what you're going to see is I have 3 baskets to set up. One of them's larger than the other 2. That's on account of me having made more of these particular brews.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what you're gonna see is this one here, and he...
While I'm talking to him, he was behind a counter.
Yeah.
Can I see what's behind the counter?
Give me a quick perception check.
16.
16. Looking, there doesn't seem to be much. It is strewn with plant material. There seems to be some dirt and sod, all under what are look to be a number of cloths that he has kind of set out to in a futile attempt to avoid the dirt from getting everywhere in the space. Mm-hmm. You see it set up. You also notice, as you kind of glance behind, a number of empty glass vials of varying sizes, as well as 2 burners, and then a large cauldron kind of seated to the side.
Good to know.
Nothing necessarily outlandish.
Okay.
As he kind of points it out, he gestures to a large wicker basket.
Well, it's like
Inside here, you might, and he glances at you for a moment, find he ponders a particular brew that when you partake of it, it makes you feel a little better, brings you back from perhaps if you have a scrape or a bruise.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Good, you're a smart
I
man.
do. I understand that.
Yes.
quite well, yeah.
Totally natural.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Exactly.
You don't like people knowing that you can make that, do you?
Well, it is great. Yes. So, anyway, if you look at this particular one, and he kind of moves over to
I moved to the next one with him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to. My mage hand has been cast this entire time, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the next one very intently with him and attempt to steal a healing potion.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Perfect. 9.
9.
Mm-hmm.
He hears this ting, 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 as the
And
glass
like
starts to move.
and just it'll drop.
And he looks and he says, huh.
And I'll act like I bumped into it.
Well, give me a performance check.
I'm so sorry. Performance?
Yes.
Ooh, 9.
9?
No.
He
8.
looks at you and he says, "Oh, just don't worry. I made the I tried to build the counters big enough for you. So it's weird. All right, huh? This one here," and he just kind of brushes it off and moves. He rolled real shit on his insight. He looks over and says, "This one here, well." He looks around for a minute. If you give it to somebody who may or may not... Are you familiar... Well, and you see him stop. Have you ever had somebody you just had that special yearning for?
Can't say that I have, friend.
Well, if you ever find yourself meeting to someone who you would like to have that special fire in the belly for you, this one will really make it happen. As he tailors
But I know
all
what
tapers
this is.
off. Give me an intelligence check.
I rolled a 23.
23.
22, sorry.
You would, looking at it for a moment, you see that there's only one. It is a very small vial, almost ovular in shape. It is translucent pink and kind of shimmers with a number of bubbles inside, almost very rapidly, with a clear wax seal over the cork at the top with this bright red wax, sealed with a symbol that you would recognize of. With that roll, you would recognize it from the Enchanting School of Magic. He says, you would recognize this as you've read about something of this effect, and it's only after with that roll and with you seeing the vial itself a filter of love.
Interesting. You make all these yourself?
When so inclined, you find that when and he pauses for a moment, and just kind of looks at you ever so briefly. Oh, friend, I gather that you're smart, based on our brief interaction. At least I hope so. There may or may not be some manner of distrust in the larger realm to people with certain abilities. That has thankfully been lessened as of late, but I am still cautious.
Rightfully so. I understand your trepidation. It's fine.
Absolutely.
This stuff fascinates me. I'm sorry. I'm kind of a scholar
No
myself.
problem at all. So those are the big two.
Perfect. And what's the going rate for something like this?
Well, for those over there, would I ask the patrons of the town to charge? And he kind of refers to the ruby red vials. Those going rates about 52 gold pieces. For this one, which is I'm only showing you because of your keen interest in intellect, is typically somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 gold pieces.
Very well.
Those are the going rate for those two. I have. And he kind of looks around and he goes, "And you keep a secret?"
Obviously.
I have more expensive stuff in the back, but I just don't bring it out much.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
It's mostly for when those berobed folks, come about.
I'd love to see what you got.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Anyway, those are the things that I have out and about.
Could I see what you got in the back?
Make a persuasion check.
19.
19?
Oh, persuasion? I'm sorry, 21.
21. He looks, well, close the door. And he you see him light up a couple of lamps. I've kind of gotten out of the business of most of this, but these are the last two of the sort of finer stock. If you're willing to pay for it, that is. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. If you're looking at this one, and you hear him go back and rummage. There's a clatter, and you oh shit, and you hear him kind of.
Is he in the back? He's left me.
Yeah, he's left in the back, and it's very quick as he kind of rumble. You see him sprint back, and you have tops 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes back out dripping 2 vials. One filled with a deep emerald green liquid that is in a diamond-shaped vial itself, like a diamond has been turned upside down and corked with the same sort of red wax. And the next is in a cube-shaped vial itself, a little bit larger, filled with a bright yellow liquid that seems to be swirling in a constant motion. Similar red wax seal. This one here, and he references the diamond shape. If you've ever wanted to make friends with a bear, I guess you can make friends with a bear with this, or make friends with a deer, or make friends with a steer, or make friends with a, well, pretty much any sort of the animal persuasion. Suppose this should do it for you. This one here, and he jostles the yellow liquid in the cube vial. I haven't made this one in years, actually. This is from the old stock. This is if you ever find yourself to be exhausted, on the verge of falling asleep where you stand, or if you find yourself suffering under the pain of a ne'er-do-well's more spectacular effects, this one has the potential to remove those conditions.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, friend, thank you so very much. I'm fine to.
Pleasure to meet somebody of a like mind and kindred spirit.
I'm maybe back.
All right.
I find myself a little short on funds right now.
Totally understandable. These are the things that most people save up for a while to get because they know they come to me. Alto.
Of course.
Because it works.
Your name is Alto.
Yes, Alto Stout Arm.
Alto Stout Arms.
You see these? And he holds up his arm. This is from stirring the pot so much. As he holds out the arm that's kind of covered by the sleeve, and almost begging you to be like, yes, do a good job.
Well,
protect the people.
Obviously.
Mostly the city guard. I give it to them for a discount because whenever they pass
to the consortium.
Not frequently.
Good.
Only when forced. Yeah.
Good.
You see him become pretty physically uncomfortable.
I don't like him either, friend.
Mm-hmm.
Forget you met me.
Well, yep. Anyway, I figure I might need to go brew some things.
Very well. I might be back later.
Nice to see you, friend. And if I needed to be not forgetting the name that which I did forget now, what name would I try to not be forgetting?
Duncan.
Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. Well, Duncan. And he kind of bows low, and the hair flips over his head, and he back up once more. Who's here? There is a ghost in my shop.
I chuckle and walk out.
The door opens and closes behind him. But behind you, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to do in the time?
I go back.
You got it. So this would have been a better part of an hour, this conversation. So in that time, Harlan leisurely waking, Kaya awaking and going downstairs. Babar, what would you like to be doing?
I went downstairs.
Downstairs as well? You two emerge downstairs. Lucy kind of bustling about getting the vicinity ready. There is, as you both emerge, she, looks at you. Oh, good to see you both. Your friend Carter just left about, not 5 minutes ago. Anything I can prepare for you?
The same.
All right. She smiles and looks at your direction.
They were very good.
I'll make sure to prepare them the same way with a lot of love, dear. And for
Does
you,
that help the flavor?
I think it does, don't you?
They did taste very good.
Then it must, mustn't it?
It must.
All right.
I would love some eggs and bacon, please.
I can bring that for you. Would you
With
like-
love.
With love.
Always. You returned one of our number? It's greatly appreciated. All right. Bacon, eggs. We got hens in the back, so I can get that for you. Would you like a sort of fatty piece of pork, or want it lean?
Both.
2 separate pieces, then. All right. Okay, great. And so she sets about her cooking. You two sit awkwardly next to each other for a little bit as Lucy begins to go into the back and cook.
I'll
You
go
should
back.
try the bacon.
To the inn to Alan.
I
back to the inn.
do not like meat.
Oh boy.
But thank you.
But meat is delicious.
Immediately jots down a new shirt idea.
I appreciate the offer, but I am good with my vegetables.
I tried your vegetables.
Yes.
You should try my bacon.
No. Thank you, but I do not eat meat. You can have meat. Is fine.
Oh. I will eat the meat.
I hate all of you.
Jots down another shirt idea.
Hey, there it is.
So you are killing beasts.
Yes.
Any particular owl beast?
Dude, now you're trying to convince an herbivore to eat meat.
Kai is
Most-
racking up the friend points right here.
Mostly I hunt giants.
Are there many giants here?
Not around here, but there once were.
Then you have done a great job.
Not me, but my family.
But you kill giants,
Yes,
and now there are none.
it is true.
Good job.
Whenever I'm done being leisure, I will get up and.
I would say you caught the tail end of that conversation. As you kind of walk down the stairs, so you hunt giants. Good job. And that is when you walk into the scene.
Good morning, Harlan.
Morning, big guy. Morning. And I hit the bar for a plate of breakfast.
Here, and you kind of come down. Lucy turns back. Oh, good morning, Harlan. I got your plate for you last night. Did you like it?
It was fine. Could I get breakfast?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any sort of
With
preference?
love.
Always,
She adds
Babar.
love is better.
With love, please.
I was already
Lucy.
assuming to put it in.
Thank you.
I've kind of detected a trend there, Harlan. And she winks at you. On 3. Well timed and well coordinated. All right, I'll get set about to it. And she sets down a plate of steaming vegetables after about the last 30 minutes. And for you, a plate of eggs and bacon. One with a very thick, succulent bit of fat, and the other very lean.
Perfect.
In front of you, along with a little bit of a potato hash. And then she sets about to work on your meal, Harlan. So,
How far is the shop from
Should I watch it to make sure she puts
it's not
the love in?
far.
Okay.
No, I think
Just
she
cross
adds it
40 feet.
on her own.
All right.
These vegetables are very good. Would you like to try some of Gaia Landi's bacon? He can have my piece.
Okay.
I think I'm getting my own.
Okay.
You'll be fine. Thank you.
At this point, the door opens and Carter steps through as Lucy sets down the plate in front of you, Harlan. As you walk in, Lucy's, Carter, good morning. You stepped out without getting a bite. Anything you want this morning for breakfast?
Oh, well, I do believe I forgot dinner, so yes, please.
Do you have a preference at what you like to eat?
Whatever you got.
We have a lot. So we can get you the bacon and egg special, which is what you got for Kalandi and Harlan, or the all vegetable plate which your friend Babar has.
I'll take the bacon and eggs, thanks.
Bacon and eggs it is.
disgusting.
Hash or no?
Oh, please.
Perfect. I know, Babar. I'm gonna make it with love.
Thank you.
Perfect.
She adds love is good.
Right.
I don't even see the vegetable plate on the menu.
I only make it special. I asked. There's not been a lot of asking
Because
around.
it's extra love.
Yep.
So she sets about to cooking once more as Carter, you step up to the bar with the rest of the individuals.
Oh, could I have some milk too, please?
From the kitchen here. All right, add a little side of milk.
Thank you.
Kylandy, do you want a burr this morning? I know you had a couple last night.
Porter, please.
Porto at breakfast, a new sort of way of doing things. I like it. All right, perfect. And she starts setting about and getting these things prepped for you.
What the hell is it?
It's Kylo Ren and a stormtrooper.
Uh-oh.
Star Wars gummies, ladies and gentlemen.
Dark side.
I'll take your word for it.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Carter.
I went over to that herbalist finally. He was open. Interesting stuff over there.
What was there?
It's got some alchemy supplies and herbs and plants and salves, things like that.
Alchemy supplies for potions?
I guess so, yeah.
Did he have potion to Feywild?
I don't think so.
Then is not important.
I'm sorry, friend.
It's about this juncture, Lucy kind of comes out, having anticipated the arrival of more, sets down a plate of food, same sort of setup, almost identical to what Kylandy had ordered, with one thick piece of bacon and one quite thin, one fatty, one not. You all find yourself receiving what I imagine in Lucy's brain is now the Kylandy special.
Lucy,
Oh yes, sir.
where is Brightwood?
Brightwood. Oh, that's a forest far to the north.
How
I know where
far?
that's at, don't I?
You would have an idea of where it is. It's at the other, the whole clear other side of Onior, dear. It's that's where they say that those druid folk live. Part of the Verdant Dominion.
And so, it's pretty far, Bevar.
I don't know much about it, sorry, dear. Only what I've heard in rumors.
Is okay.
Most of the time we get a couple of druid folk around here, but only only at some of our festivals actually. We had one not too long ago actually for the oh yeah, we had one who was traveling about for the festival of Candle Night. I don't know if he's still in town. He wasn't staying here with me. He was staying at the temple.
At the temple.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh, well, she actually goes by, it's hard to pronounce, Babar. She,
That is long name.
I'll shorten it for you. We just kind of call her Clara.
Clara.
Clara or Cara?
What kind of
Clara.
nickname
With a
is
C or
that
a
for
K?
C-L-A-R-A.
Babar?
Is Druid.
I suppose so. I don't,
From Brightwood.
well, that's where she said she hails, or at least had been there before. I might just be my assumption. But I know that she's got a knack with nature.
Lucy, where is temple?
If you exit here, straight at this door, you got this sort of square with our wee bit of whale right down the middle of town, yeah?
Yes.
And then you hang a slight left and walk down the street there about 100 to 150 feet. It's the large white sort of stone building, polished stone, the only white polished stone building in Calder actually. It sits about 4 stories in height.
And Clara is there.
Last I know, that's where she was staying. She was staying with Broadmoor.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, dear. Something looks like you got you down. Anything I can help with?
Unless you can get me back to Feywild, then no.
And she puts her hand out and kind of clasps it on top of yours. She goes, dear, I'm sorry you can't go home right now, but I have to tell you, you're in a right bit of good here. So I'm inclined to have you stay for a bit.
Thank you, friend.
I don't know if it'll help, but yeah, thank you, friend. And she turns and sets about cooking. Anything else I can get for you while I'm out here, bittling? Oh, while I'm here, I forgot about it last night. And she kind of spins around, her ringlets of gray kind of bobbing as she turns. Terence. His name's Terence Parton. He's the Burmeister of Calder. He was looking for you. He just wanted, I believe, to extend his thanks.
Terrence what?
Parton. Parton. I let him know you all were staying here. I didn't know when you'd be up given the events of the last couple of days, but I expect he'd be coming around to visit you later in the day. If I had any sort of idea.
What is it?
Terrence Parton. The Burmeister.
Burmeister?
Burmeister.
Are you Googling it?
No.
What is it?
Bermister?
Yeah. You gather from the way she's referring to him, and from what you've heard in the past, it would kind of be the equivalent of a mayor.
Okay. Would I have known that?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the local municipalities, and you're studying under the Kuvar, yeah.
Okay.
It would have been kind of like a remote little bit of knowledge that as you heard it, you go, oh, yeah, that.
Do you know what that means?
Master of the Burrs.
Exactly. No, that means this town's king wants to thank you.
Oh, because you are king of the other town.
I'm not the
And
king.
this town has own king.
I'm not the king of the other town.
You keep saying that. You are very funny, Harlan. You should meet other king.
You have a crown on your head, don't you?
I do.
This is Steven asking TJ.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Hmm?
Bebar, if I may.
You may.
You keep implying that you're not a king and yet you wear a crown.
Yes.
That's a very kingly thing to wear. Therefore, are you a king?
No.
Then why do you wear a king's crown?
Because.
I'm going to excuse myself and go back upstairs and pack to go home.
All right.
Because why?
Because it is part of tradition.
Traditions for kings to wear crowns. Are you a king of the Feywild?
I am not.
Then what tradition says that you must wear a crown?
Are you from Feywild?
I'm not. That's why I'm very fascinated.
Then you would not understand.
Try me. I'm pretty fucking smart.
You seem very interested in my crown.
It's a conversation piece, is it not?
Apparently. Maybe is private matter.
Could be. If it is, I'm sorry that I intruded.
Is okay. You did not know, did you?
No, I did not.
Then is okay.
You all would have noticed about at the start of that conversation, Harlan stand up, politely excuse himself, then head back upstairs.
I would like to go to temple if you need me. I will get up and go upstairs to get mine.
Okay.
I'll join you if that's okay. They've got some fascinating books up there.
You have been before.
Oh. Kaya?
Kai.
Kai? Okay, sorry.
Go with Kai.
Kai.
Canon.
Yes, Kai and I, when we got to town, we happened to stop up there.
Then you will take me. I will be back.
Very well. I'm forgetting to eat my meal, by the way, Alan.
You got it. Alrighty. You make your way upstairs.
Is your door open or closed?
Like, standing open?
Like, yeah, like, is it, like, open at all or is it pulled shut? Like,
I mean,
when you went in?
it's... I imagine the door's shut. I don't know.
If you would have gone upstairs, but you tell me, would you have closed the door?
Because you said you were packing, I didn't know if you, like, opened it and walked in or if you had shut it.
I assumed I shut it because it was
Yeah.
a private room, but yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like I
You go
was...
upstairs. You would know the room, having followed Harlan
Right.
up the night before.
I would knock.
All right. Harlan, you hear this loud, kind of thundering, sonorous on the door. It's very familiar. You would know.
I
where that come
I
from.
know it's Babar.
Yeah.
kind of hard not to.
I'll go open it. Hey, big guy.
So it was not Lucy that wrote me note.
No, that would be me.
I thought it was Lucy.
Does she call you big guy?
No.
Okay.
I thought maybe she forgot my
Okay.
name.
Oh, jeez.
Quickly rethinking my entire strategy for the evening.
Does she call you big guy? Nope. So you assumed it anyway.
I thought she
Yep.
forgot my name.
Is there anybody else in the bar besides
You all
me and
know
Kai?
my name.
There are a couple of patrons in the bar. And we'll get to that in just a minute.
Almost ruined it
Oh,
when she called me
shit.
the bar right off the bat, but I pushed through.
Would you like to come in? We have quite a bit to talk about.
Okay.
All right.
Door kind of closes behind you.
Well, oddly enough, first off, I'm going to ask you a weird question.
Finally.
I can't do this. Last night, or this morning, sorry, when we came back, which was before we rested. I'm very confused. The morning when we came back,
Yes.
you mentioned the mind talk.
Yes. Carter spoke to me in my head.
That's definitely good to know.
Yes.
However, not what I was speaking of. The Vertari, when he spoke to me.
Yes. He was member of Elder for you. Loxodon.
Right. Well, I think I sort of saw how he did it. Would you mind if I tried?
Did what?
The mind talk.
I do not like mind talk. Is bad use of magic.
That's just it. I don't think this is magic.
What is?
The mind talk.
If not magic, what is?
I'm not really sure.
I do not like that idea. But I trust you, friend.
All right. So I'm going to use my telepathy to send the next message
Okay.
to you, which should come across in my voice, but in your native language.
Okay.
All right, I think I've got it. Does this work?
Yes. Out loud.
Okay.
Not even being out loud.
Yep.
Yes.
So you're not going to let me do this in your head, are you?
I get.
Let him do it, but not you.
If I tell you why I would rather do it that way, would you possibly let me?
If you tell me why, not in my head.
I don't trust the two other people you've picked up not to be listening. And these are secrets I'd rather them not know.
Is that not bad reason?
That's your call.
Why do you not trust them?
All right, we can do that one first.
Yes.
Well, let's start from the moment we met them.
They bought us a drink.
Yes, at 9 o'clock in the morning.
We drank it.
Cozied up to you, asked you one question. You refused to answer it. Asked you the same question, and you answered it fully. For no reason. Why?
I was affected
By what?
by his magic. You do not have much magic here, but Feywild have lots.
So that confirms what he's hiding.
He showed me illusion of plant from Feywild and said he could help.
All right. He's also proclaimed not to be able to help in any way, shape, or form. He's proclaimed that he will not protect you, will not help defend you, will not help with anything. He just wants to come for knowledge. And expects you to protect him. Now, if he has this magic too, and you've confirmed it, I only had Kai's statement to confirm it.
Do I, when you used the message so we could have a conversation, does that stay open?
Yeah, that's telepathy.
Yeah.
So I can respond at any point?
Yeah.
Okay. You also did not trust Vertari, but Alice was there.
That's correct.
Why is this not similar?
Every statement that Vitari has told me I can verify is true. Carter has done nothing but avoid questions. I left earlier because I didn't want to see him interrogate you again.
He did ask about my crown. Now, in the mind, I will tell Harlan, my crown is part of what I was doing when I appeared, is the leader of our calling.
Wait. I'm so sorry. Was that in my head?
That was in your head.
Okay, I'm so sorry that I have to do this. So, you're basically telling me you are the king?
He's not king, he's given to leader of our calling to retrieve Antieki.
Okay.
No one knows that outside of our tribe. And now you know it. What is your second question?
Oh, dear. Alright, so there's that. There's the other one who, now I don't remember fully our trip to the Feywild.
What would you like to know?
How I saw the cleric drop over, yet when we got back you were the one looking next to death and he was fine.
Because he can heal himself.
Just himself?
He does not know. His god does not say one way or the other. We talked.
Aha.
He is hunting beasts.
That much is obvious. So, I'm sorry to say it, but unfortunately, if you're going to keep company with them, I'm not willing to put my name in with that group. You saw how I was treated in the port. I'm not about to give all that up for two strangers I don't know who are lying and hiding everything from us.
So, what would it take for you to be okay? If anyone has help to get me home, I will take the help.
I understand that. And I think you should, if you think you have a better chance with them.
But I still owe you.
You owe me nothing. I would do this for any good person.
So you have no problem with Gaia Landi?
Other than I don't understand his actions. I've never known an elf to take that particular approach hunting.
Maybe he is just bad.
You know, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be the one to say it.
I will say it. Sorry.
I love it.
I do not think Carter is bad.
Carter has too many secrets. Carter is visibly hiding, trying to be a wizard. It was obvious to me who never saw him cast a spell.
So So we get him to admit he is wizard.
That's not what I'm worried about. I don't give a damn he can cast a spell. I give a damn about what he's hiding from.
What do you think he is hiding from?
That part I do not know. It could be anything. Anything from a farmer's wife, although I have no idea why you tried to give up magic and fail so miserably at it. For a farmer's wife. To God's forbid, the law wants him beheaded for some thing he's done to offend the queen. I don't know. But whatever he's hiding from and running from, when it catches him, it will catch us. And if I don't know what we're hiding from, I'm inevitably going to give it away without even knowing. I've spent my entire life investigating things. It's what I do. If something confuses me, I seek out the answer. And I use every available resource I've got. Now, if you want to continue with them, you may. I have no problem with that. I can send an associate of mine to meet with you.
No, Harlan. You used your power to protect me when I appeared. And I would stay with you. But I think Carter could be a powerful ally if we get answers.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's very good at what he does.
I would.
Everybody's got to be good at something, and he's demonstrated nothing so far. It's got to be that.
He has not been hunting.
This is true, but he has completely claimed that he's very, very smart, and if you can give me 5 minutes worth of knowledge that that man has given you in the past 5 days, I will give you my money pouch.
And I don't remember any of Carter's spellcasting because I was raged. Correct?
Useful information,
So,
knowledge that
I
he
would
has,
say for
he has
that
claimed
specifically-
nothing but I will be smart and there for you. What has he taught you?
So, with that question specifically, because you're asking, give me an intelligence check.
You were the only one that saw me, though, weren't you?
Yeah, but he talked about it
Yeah,
quite
but-
loudly.
Yeah, I definitely was hiking back the trail being like, this is what happened, guys!
16.
16? Okay. All right. With that roll, you would know that there were times, like, as you sit and think about it, right, you would remember that there were times within the rage that you have accessed recently that you were able to kind of control and remember and recollect.
Okay.
There were a couple of specific instances where you were able to have that control. One would be when you chose to move yourself through teleport to have a sight line, and that it essentially changed your sight line. You already know what has occurred based upon your interactions, right? All you would have seen in that glimpse of that role is you would have had Carter in your sight line and anything that occurred in that period of time, right? It might be tough to deduce, but that's with a role like that, you would have remembered that there were some portions of this that you
Okay.
are aware of. What that implies necessarily, you're not sure of.
I do not understand why he would want to hide magic.
Well, big guy, I mean, there's any number of reasons. It's fairly recently returning to our realm. There are very many people who are very suspicious of it. I don't know if it's like this in the Feywild, but
It
power
is not.
corrupts people.
There is corruption, but in
Right. So just like any other power, some people use it poorly. Not everybody, but some people. And this one is a new one. So everybody is afraid of it.
Are you afraid of it?
I'm not afraid of the tool, I'm afraid of the user.
So we interrogate him.
That's not the best way to do it, but okay.
But it will get us information. or make him use magic.
I don't need to make him do that. What I need him to do is come clean with us. If you intend me to keep along with you. Now there's another way, but you're going to have to lie.
Why would I lie?
Because you would know my secret.
Your calling.
My what?
Your calling. My secret I told you
Oh, okay, yeah, you could
is
Call that.
your calling.
call it that.
Will protect you to keep a secret.
Once I tell you this, it's increased the number of people who know this by 100%. I am the only one. I need you to swear on you will keep it to your grave and past it on your tribe's life.
I will take my crown off
All right.
and I will set it on the ground and I will just look. Go ahead.
All right, so this is a long story, and I'm sorry, you guys. We can go to break now or later. I don't know what you want to do,
I
but
was about to say, so we are going to take a very quick pause with that, and we are going to come back in about 10 to 15 minutes as we have more discussions and find
This is
out
gonna
what
be
Carter
weird.
and Kylandy were talking about in that time as well. We will be right back, everybody, so stick around because it's getting good.
whew, I can pick Soul Knife now.
All right. Ooh, my camera's really bad. All right, that's maybe better. Hold please, everybody at home. We'll let fixed it. Welcome
Got it.
back, everybody. Okay. So you may notice we're missing 2 members. That's because they no longer. No, I'm kidding. All right. So.
There was combat on the break, and well,
Oh, actually,
Well,
at this
now-
point, yeah, there was combat on the break, and guess what? They're rolling. That's why they're not here. They're rolling new characters. So, before we actually kick off, I missed this earlier. I want to thank the Crafty Gamer Shop again for more than just this great tank top that I'm wearing. We're actually using the Long Rest wax melt this time around, which is one of my favorite scents, and I thought it was apropos for today's session.
Indeed.
So,
we're doing
thank
a
you,
lot of
Crafty
resting,
Gamer Shop.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
None of this is taxing. Physically.
Yeah, it's,
Physically.
That's why we have the scent, because it relaxes us when things
Emotionally,
get intense.
not well right
Out
now.
of it.
Not well.
Physically,
Gonna
we're
need
good.
therapy.
Physically, we're good. Okay, so let me get all of my things set back up here. With that, we are going to pick up right where we left off, and that is with Babar and Harlan mid-conversation. So,
Mind conversation.
yes, indeed. Let's kick it back off, gents.
I don't remember what the last thing I
The
said
last thing you
was.
said was Harlan inside of Babar's mind, looking at him and saying, "So I'm going to tell you my secret."
Oh, crap. Okay. So, in order to understand this fully, I'm very sorry, but this is going to be one of those when I was born stories.
At least it's not my story. That would take much longer.
So, as far as I know, I've never known my father. My mom and I have been hiding in Port, and please tell me how to say that right.
Thorstead.
Port Thorstead, when I was very young. She also died when I was very young, which then meant I was on the streets, and I had to learn to protect myself. I have been chasing the mystery of who my family is since I was that old. Because once my mother died, there was nobody else in Port Thorstead, like me.
Like me here.
Yes. Extremely similar. And since that time, I have been chasing that mystery. Oddly enough, in the 9 days I've known you, more leads have opened about it than in the 30 years, roughly, I was searching prior.
That is a strange coincidence.
I think it's more than that. I think somehow, and I don't know how to say it, I think somehow I might be like you.
In what way? You are Loxodon.
No.
You are barbarian.
No.
You are from Feywild?
Maybe. It's not a possibility I have entertained before, but the pieces might fit. I can start with resolution. When we walked into her place, when she responded to us, she directed it at me and said, "That's what brings you both here."
Me going home.
You showing up from Feywild.
It is what brought you there because I showed up.
But the way she phrased it did not sit right. Hasn't been sitting right for 5 days, and I've never known that woman to misspeak anything. I think she knows more than she's letting on, and I think she was telling me that I might be a little more like you than we think. In addition to that, well, and this that we're doing right now, talking in your head, but in addition to that, when we spoke the words on the pillar,
You spoke as if you had said before.
I don't know that language. I don't know how to read that language. When you spoke to me, I did not know what you said. When I said it, I knew what it meant.
And you do not think is coincidence.
Who can translate something they've never heard before immediately like that? I just knew what it meant. I was familiar with the phrase and the saying. I knew it. I don't know why. I've never heard it before. I can't speak the language. If you put it in front of me now, I couldn't read it.
You have never seen that language before.
Not ever. Well, I've probably come across it, but not been able to identify or read it, so I put that book away. I'm not the best read.
So you think resolution has more answers?
I think she might. And in addition to that, there are other people that I think might know things. But again, we were talking about I can't travel with your friends.
I do not think Kai is a threat. I think he is just not good at hunting.
Probably not.
I do not get the feeling that he is hiding.
No, I don't
anything.
think he's hiding. I think he just makes poor decisions sometimes. But God, I'm worried about. I don't know what's after him. God forbid it's a lord or the consortium or something. When they find him, they
What
don't...
is consortium?
You're going to need to help me on that one. I know I have context there, but I don't know exactly what it does.
Yeah, so I'd say give me an intelligence check. No, actually, this one would be history. The same modifier, but just history would be more appropriate.
11.
11. The consortium's fairly new to Port Thorstead. They have assisted in more reconnaissance missions that you have been a part of in your time with specific magic users who have aided you. They have all been similarly dressed. They have all spoken very little, and when they did speak, it was mostly in response to the higher-ups.
So Harlan's take of it is basically the guard or the military, but for mages.
Essentially, it is based on their presence in Port Thorstead. Absolutely.
I'm not entirely sure. They're new to the area, but Basically, they act like the god or the military, but for wizards.
So if we can find out why Carter is hiding, you could travel. So are you trying to get back to Feywild?
Well, now, here's the thing. I don't know. Would you mind if I asked you a bit about the Feywild?
Before you ask, you should also know I may not be able to return to the Feywild.
Why not? Other than we can't find you a way back.
That is the easy part, Harlan. In my tribe, we have the calling, where a group goes after the Antieki, which promises to help the Loxodon people prosper and survive. No one has made it back in generations. I was the leader of a calling for the Antieki. I was close. We were attacked and I showed up. In the calling, if you do not retrieve the Antieki, you cannot return. One member can return to tell. But if I am not first one back, which I imagine I am not, I cannot go home.
Well, now I understand your rush.
I do not even know if any of my group survived.
Right.
I will help you however I can, but I might not be able to go home.
Well, I told you I would help you get home, and I think helping you get home helps me further my mystery.
What would you like to know?
Everything I know about my kin comes from folklore and myth. Have you ever heard of an entity called the Traveler? The Vitari spoke of him.
Is that something?
Give me a... This would be a history check, my friend.
16.
You've heard the name before. They are one of the unaffiliated
The
archfey.
outside. Okay. But like high in power of
You
their
don't
own.
know. You just know that
I just
they
know
are.
that they are.
There's very little known about it. It's only with that role that you would know of the name.
We've
and
never
the affiliation.
done work or
It is the one entity that you have heard people speak about kind of in hushed tones or with great respect, and then the conversation quickly moves and ends. It's almost not necessarily a myth, because you would know that if it's mentioned in the Feywild that it's true, but you lack the level of detailed information that you would have about other...
I know that they are greatly respected. We, my tribe, have never interacted. They are not sealed or unsealed. They are their own.
I'm actually not familiar with those. Would I be? The Feywild has not been an avenue I have searched.
Yeah, no. I would say you can give me an intelligence check, but it's going to be a pretty high DC.
I'll just freely admit to not knowing. I'm sorry, I don't know those terms.
The unsealed use the mind magic.
Okay. Wait, would that make... What?
There are the Sealed and Unsealed. Am I saying that right?
Sealy and unsealy.
Sealed and Unsealed. Is balance, like Vertari spoke of.
And the Traveler is neither. Or neither.
Correct. There are outlying,
Does the Traveler still exist? I'm sorry.
as they are,
They spoke about him in present tense. You know that.
though they are spoken in hushed tones, they are still spoken of.
But he's not unseelie, he's not seelie, so he's just around.
Yes. He's not good or bad. My tribe is similar. Not good, not bad. Even.
And you said you've worked with a number of... What did you just say? You haven't worked with the Traveler, but you do work with...
We Loxodon do stone. Stone work, stone building. For both sides.
So you... Alright. This is gonna seem like a weird jump of the track, but... With your... interest in lycanthropes earlier... Are there many other shapeshifters in the Feywild?
Yes. Is Feywild. Magic is everywhere. Your plane is very dull.
So... Then I think... Maybe... And I... How am I dressed? Did we go out? I did not put my kimono on. I'm back in my actual
Yeah, you're
outfit.
back in your traveling clothes.
So
yeah.
I've got my hat on and everything. All right, remember that in a moment, because you won't actually be shocked when I show you this. This is the part you cannot tell anybody else. And I take my hat off, and I shake my head, and it is now like Pantene Pro V shampoo commercial.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yes.
Nice.
Except dark brown. And the woman seated before you is gorgeous. And she is wearing Harlan's clothes.
They fit a little loose. But
She looks Mediterranean, you know, the green hazel eyes, the tan skin with the brown hair. Any that can do that, do you?
That is very interesting, Harlan.
It's Delilah.
No, is Harlan.
No, actually. Harlan was here.
The voice is different,
The voice is very
but
different.
it's still a connection, and I would know that. Well, no,
Yep.
I would just know that it is now. Okay.
Delilah. Where is Harlan?
Right here. I switch right back.
shakes the head once more, and as it does, the hair retracts back into the same style, placed back on the head.
I will lean in real close.
I have never shown anybody that.
Harlan. I think you may be from Feywild.
That's what I'm starting to think.
Is it just that one?
No, it's literally anyone I want. This is one of them.
How long have you known?
Always. You are literally the only other being who knows this.
Can you turn into Loxodon?
I've never tried. But if I do right now, I will bust out of this clothing. And I can't repair it.
Sometime then.
So you're back to Harlan?
Yep. Now, when I spoke of an associate meeting with you at another time, do you understand what I meant?
So you would leave? and Delilah would come back.
Delilah would meet with you wherever you tell me to meet, and Harlan would continue north to look for his friend. That's... wait a minute. High Lord Walker?
Yeah, High Lord Lightwalker, yep.
That High Lord Lightwalker asked me to check on.
So you would not travel with us?
It depends on how you look at that. Harlan would not be. I would. The other option is cornering Carter, who is a scared bunny rabbit right now, and making him admit what's going on so I can figure that out. I cannot risk the reputation I've built in the port. Not with this particular skin. Delilah does not have the same restrictions.
So you think we interrogate?
If you would like. I don't want to corner him and scare him into hurting himself or us. I'd rather give him the time to give it up on his own. But if you would rather travel with this, there's going to be some very heavy rules in place.
I will keep your secret. I have never kept a secret.
Thank you. I will keep yours.
And I will take my crown, pick it up off, and put it back on. Then you should go find your friend.
Where should I? Wait a minute. I'm going to change into Delilah real quick. Takes an action, so it's not hard. And where would you like me to meet you?
So I would say in terms of locations, because this is tough for Babar. Babar has heard of 3 locations consistently, right? 3 that have been mentioned. You've heard Port Thorstead, you've heard Calder, and you've heard Falstad. Those are the only 3 locations that Babar has heard.
And we've been to Thorstead, which is where Harlan is going. Okay.
And you've been
And we're in Calder.
And the only one it's very limited because you guys spent a ton of time in town. I'm sorry, I literally have notes of it.
Then we will head to Falstad.
Harlan, Delilah, rather, you would know that Falstad is a significant travel north. You're talking about a little bit more than 2 weeks. There are a couple of locations along the way that have been used as trading posts or stops.
Okay.
So you could better about a week or so out, so less intensive.
All right.
But Delilah would know that.
All right. So, all right, how about this? And I'll flip back to Harlan. We'll figure out where the group is going. I'll say that that is not an option for me. I have to report back to Port Thornstead due to my job.
And Delilah will...
Or I will actually, I've already said this out loud, I will just simply state, no, I've been directed to go, say, look for this missing person. That is my mission. I need to go that way. You all go this way. I will meet up with you at a later date if that is possible.
And you will know where we are meeting.
And then I will know where you are going, and you will pretend you've never seen Delilah before.
Do you remember both when you are Delilah?
Completely.
So is still you.
Yes.
Then we will see Delilah soon.
It will be your great fortune to travel with her.
and I do not know her.
Probably easiest, considering they know pretty much everybody you've ever known.
So it shall be.
Alright, I have one last question for you. I'm going to drop Harlan.
Okay. So, seated before you, rather, at this point, is another entity. Whereas Harlan and Delilah are tanned, though in different degrees. The eye color changes for each of them, seemingly both unique but matching the characteristics of the individual. This entity is pale. Almost white skin. Very little color. The eyes themselves seem to shift before you. The features are seemingly ever shifting. The form itself beneath the hat, the hair is very light in tone. It's difficult for you to catch a color. It seems to shift and lean most consistently in the lighter color, but you can see it as the light catches it. It can be anything.
And have I seen this before?
Give me an intelligence check.
$11?
No.
But it doesn't.
The closest thing you would associate to with that role are shifters, which have more animalistic features. But you
And
would know
nothing
that
I
it is-
would have seen
But
before.
you know that's not a shifter.
Okay. What is your question?
Do you know anything that looks like this? Well, actually, do you know anything that looks like this?
Slight accent change.
I have seen shifters, but they are more animal. You are more ethereal.
Well, Barbara the Bruin. My name's Penn. Let's go home.
I will hold out a hand.
All right.
I will shake his hand, and as I'm shaking his hand, I will turn back into Harlan.
The shift happens. Even to the texture of the skin changes ever so lightly from something that's very light and fair to heavily calloused. And the shift occurs, a little bit more meat to the bones of Harlan as opposed to Penn, which is more lithe in form. And it's back to the man you first met.
Go home, Harlan.
All right, I won't talk to your mind anymore. Thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you for reaching out.
All right. So with that, we're going to invite our other friends back in.
Oh, fuck. Did you have any clue?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yoo-hoo! Come back in. Thank you for your patience.
3 mini soon. So.
Nice.
Welcome back.
Oh, we
Okay.
were just talking about how we're gonna murder everyone now.
Seems like a plan.
It's all right. We're level 20.
Tuesdays.
Oh,
we
perfect.
actually
Right.
Tyron shows up.
Hey!
We're level 20. We went to the
He
Feywild,
shifts
came back.
planes and
interesting.
It was
okay.
fun.
So
Great
while
time.
that conversation
Ferris
is
wheels.
occurring,
So did you guys win D&D while we were gone?
Yeah, they won D&D.
The Feywild has Ferris wheels, man.
Ah.
You gotta see it.
It is
Ferris
brilliant.
wheels? No,
Yeah.
I only read the merry-go-round.
Fey-
So my
Ferris
pencils.
wheels. Come on.
Alan. Thanks for the
Oh,
note.
great catch. Okay,
Snagged it.
so while that conversation is occurring, you two, Kylandy and Carter, are sitting down at the bar, kind of consuming your meal. Carter, you have your fresh glass of milk that seems to continually be replenished, and you have had at least 2 porters at this juncture. What would you all like to discuss in this time, if anything?
So I think, wow. I think Babar and I are gonna go back to the temple. You wanna come?
If that is where we are going, I shall go.
I'm just waiting for him to come back, that's all.
Well, whenever he's back. Well, I guess this will be my last drink.
Oh, I've barely touched my milk.
As you all are kind of...
Sometimes I forget to eat and drink and...
You should finish that.
The food or the milk?
Both.
Okay. Thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that, friend. So, I never really got the time to ask you where you're from or what you're doing here. I know that you...
I don't remember that.
I do.
The Storm Isles, right?
Well, that's where I studied.
Okay.
It's not where I'm from.
You are from Hemanel.
Hemanel.
Well, I would have.
I'm from Hemanel.
Okay. Well,
That's a very direct.
No, we're not. It's not you.
thank you for all your help on the road. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
As you all are kind of conversing, the door gently just opens behind you, and the the halfling individual you saw this morning, not Alto, but the gentleman you saw with the, kind of the ruffled black hair and the kind of finer clothes that looked a bit disheveled. That individual enters again looking a little bit more cleaned up, wearing what looks to be a monocle chain that kind of dips into a pocket on the left-hand side of his body. You remember this specifically, Carter, as you saw this gentleman the day prior. As he enters, he's,
Lucy? Lucy?
and Lucy steps out from behind the. Lucy steps out from behind the kitchen.
Yes. Oh, I told him you were coming, sir. I didn't know when you'd arrive, but I thought you said you wanted to swing by. So, gentlemen, well, I wish Babar and Harlan were here for this, but Kai and Carter, this is Terrence Parton. He's our local barmaster. He wanted to, I suppose. Yes, I wanted to
As he kind of interrupts and steps up and saunters and sits between you both at the bar.
I wanted to thank you for your efforts in finding Alice. Seems that she's missing a lot of what happened, but I wanted to make sure you had the official thank you from Calder, and if there's ever anything that you may need from us, we'd be more than happy to provide it. I don't know what you may need. I don't know how long you've been traveling. I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know where you're planning on going, but you've made some friends here, and we really appreciate it.
Much obliged.
I'm Terrence, by the way. I'm given to understand that you are Kylandy?
Kylandy Hrothgar is my name.
Kylandy Hrothgar. Do you mind if I just call you Kylandy?
Sure.
It's a bit of a mouthful, friend. Sorry. Well, I got it. Anyway, and I'm given to understand you're called Carter?
Just Carter, yeah.
All right. Well, Terrence. The other two, I just know there's a big one with...
Oh, you mean Babar?
Yes, that's
Yes.
the one.
And he continues to like mime the trunk. As
Yep.
And
Harlan's got a big nose.
the other gentleman is known as Harlan.
That's quite right.
Yeah, so
Babar should be down. I think we were fixing to head off to the temple for a little bit.
well, if you need anything there, it would just anything at all within the town, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know what you're looking for.
Of course.
Let me know at what point we would be.
Harlan. That name sounds familiar. Huh. Well, in any case,
What I do now?
Can I insight check that?
You can if you'd like. What are you looking for specifically?
When he says that name sounds familiar, what tone is that?
Okay.
I don't know.
You gather that
That's like the most disappointing thing, right? I did that first roll. I was like, damn it.
I got nothing.
he's just
Less
it's a
than
name
nothing.
he's having issues placing.
Okay.
That's what you get. He's like, that's a name.
well, just know that we're in your debt. I'll let Brownmore know you're coming to give you full access to whatever it is that you're looking for within the temple. The Righteous Hold is pretty unique, actually. You know, it's composed of this white polished stone that actually comes from... You don't want to listen to me.
We were actually there a couple days ago, so...
Oh, so did Brownmore give you the history of the stone, or...?
He sure did.
Oh, good. Well, I guess then you don't want to hear me tell the story twice. So, well, just know that we appreciate you. I'm planning on leaving some reward money here for you. Split it however you'd like. I just need to get it out of the treasury whenever we can. It's been blocked up recently because we've hit some hard times with some of the crop. There's been some strange occurrences down at some of these farms, and we just feel for the farmers and want to...
What kind of strange occurrences?
Oh, all kinds. Up north, we keep hearing some movements and migrations that are strange of some beasties out of the Tormund Mountains coming to the east. From the Unoli, we've had some... I can only describe them as these weird sort of fire lizards. Based on what I've...
That's what killed
Dragons?
me last time.
There's only one, but it was down at the old...
It's dead.
Oh, what was that farm? Oh, goodness.
As he consults his notes.
I don't have that notebook. Sorry.
I do.
It was the old Buck family farm.
Yep.
But boy, I see it, I know that your two other friends helped them kind of alleviate that problem. But mostly it's just been some strange activities of the animals in the area. We've had some recent reports closer to the Tormund and to near Falstead, to the south of Fort Oxhold, of some strange activities. But I only get those whispers from when we get our missives back and forth between the other brewmeisters. So
The Tormund Mountains are to the north?
They're to the... So they are a mountain range that extends... You would actually know this. They're a mountain range that extends up the western coast. The only break is at Sio. And so the Argent Forest cuts them in two, and as does the city of Sio, as it extends up the western coastline.
All right.
But those are the strange things. I mean, weather's been fine. It's just the animals back that's so strange.
Yeah.
Well, and whatever the case may be, we've made our way through it. I've set aside some of the reserves that might not, if you don't mind me saying, that will keep us on our feet for a while and be able to give you the ability to perhaps travel in a little bit more comfort.
Yeah, we might be traveling north here. Not quite sure where. Might go up towards the Brightwood.
Well, that's a long way.
It is.
Well, there's a couple of places you should want to stop if you decide to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how... Let me just tell you this. The last known settlement before you hit the Unole Desert, traveling northwest in a northwesterly direction, is Falstad.
Mm-hmm.
Then you are at the thinnest juncture of the Unole. I advise you to be careful. While that trek only takes about 10 days, make sure you got your supplies. The heat is unrelenting, and its pass is pretty close to Enteritus. It's mostly a place of legend. I don't know.
Would I know what that is?
Give me an intelligence check.
Do
Actually,
you
this is
have an
history.
extra map?
History?
Yes, history.
26.
26? I'll be right there.
I can check some of our stores. We don't keep them around, but I'll check.
Please do.
Yeah, I'll see if we have anything in the way of maps for you. When are you deciding on setting out? Do you know yet?
Not quite. We're still trying to figure out what might be next, but
All right.
the Brightwood sounded interesting. It might help one of our fellows.
From what I hear, the Verdant Dominion's doing quite well for themselves right now. So, from what I know, they don't really talk much. Well, I'll check on that map for you. Otherwise, if you decide to go north, don't go straight north and cut through the Unole. From here, cutting through the bulk, the closest location is the Tavina Oasis, and I haven't traveled there in the better part of 20 years, so I don't know how much has changed.
Well, we thank you, sir.
Absolutely. If you stick around for a day or so, I'll see what I can do about that map, and I'll get some of the reward for finding Alice. I know that one of your number was quite generous in ensuring that the family kept their funds. But we'll see that you're taken care of in some way, in whatever way that we can manage.
Excellent.
Well, I don't want to keep you. And you got your meal, so I'll be on my way.
Have a good day.
You as well. It was a pleasure to meet you both, and just know if you're ever in Calder again,
Much obliged. Thank you.
don't be strangers. And you got it. Hit.
I'll tip my hat.
We missed all of that, right? Okay.
I'll
you-
just lift up the cane.
Yep. As you lift up the cane, you hear you all, Babar and Harlan, would hear the door close as you make your way back down into the central bar area of the Slippery Griffin.
And you said that it was Enteritus. INT
Eritus. So you had a 23?
26.
26. Not a lot is written about Enteritus. The DC is 25.
Okay.
You would have read one line about it.
Okay.
All it says is, and with the 26 you would remember the line. Tower in Teradus sits in ruin. It lays claim to the Unole Desert and acts as the source of the change.
It lays claim
To the desert and acts as the source of the change.
But I know what the change is.
Do I recognize these words from anywhere?
Give me a history check, Kai. Not much is written about it. You would surmise from the book that you were reading, right? The book that you were reading in there specifically is an art. It is, again, with that roll, it is an archaic book, one of the few salvaged from the Age of Unlight.
12.
12. You are familiar with the Unole Desert. You are familiar that it was not always a desert. That's about all you know.
Do I know what it was before?
No clue.
Okay.
All right. So you all walk back down and are together once more.
Are you ready to go to the temple?
I am.
Is that the same temple I went to?
Yeah.
Oh,
We are looking for Clara.
for who?
Clara's
Clara.
at the temple.
Clara?
She is a druid from the Brightwood.
Thoughts on the Brightwood? Do you know when whatever it is that will happen at the Brightwood will be happening? I'm assuming it's not a nightly thing.
And a
I
massive
do
bear
not.
growls.
Rar.
Sorry.
I
Wait, this
do
one
not.
only happened at the equinox, so I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of special date that you would have to arrive.
Then we should get there sooner.
We should definitely talk to Clara to see when that is.
Yes, so we are going to find Clara.
I've been to this temple.
You have.
Yes.
So has Carter.
Let's go.
Oh, Terrence was just here. The Burmeister. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Oh,
the
we
Burmeister.
missed him.
He offers his thanks for our participation.
He was a nice guy.
With getting Alice home. He did mention that if we needed anything, we could let him know, and I did say we were thinking possibly about going to the Brightwood, so he might have a way for us to travel, and he's working on getting a map for us.
That is very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is quite a journey, and we would have to go through the desert, but
It's a long way away, so
it is a long way away, yes.
So we should leave sooner.
Then later.
if it matters, I would check with Claris first to see when.
That is where we are
Yeah.
going. Is to see Clara.
If not, Resolution might know. She knew about this one.
I still owe her favor. Let's go find
Clara.
Clara.
Off to Clara.
All right. So you all exit the Slippery Griffin. Lucy kind of cleaning up the plates as you leave. Just
All right, have a great. You're coming back this time, right?
With love.
all right, dear. And she,
Luck with luck.
she didn't hear that last part. So you all leave and begin making your way down the familiar streets. For you, Kylandi, for you, Harlan, for you, Carter, very familiar. You've been there before. Babar, this is new, and you notice a massive 4-story building that has kind of always been at this side of your field of vision. You've been, however, very focused and intent on the pathway laid before you previously. So you've not spent as much time necessarily taking in the architecture. But as you see this building, it stands out in stark relief, made in polished, pure white stone. Which sits in very clear contrast to the deep grays and kind of dim colors of the majority of the other homes in the area, as a mix of dark woods and stone. It stands 4 stories, ending in what looks to be a large bell tower at the top. Beautiful glass windows, some stained, others not, lining the exterior of this fairly large figure that sits on the exterior of the town, but you can tell it is well maintained and a point of pride for the townspeople. As you make your way inside, you are greeted once more by the familiar dwarven gentleman for the three of you, Broudmore Amberbraid. As his name would suggest, as he approaches you, he greets you all, nodding in turn. The dwarven gentleman, bald head, deep amber beard, with two braids stemming down from the mustache into the beard proper, glittering green eyes, looks, great to see you all again. So you brought your friend, I've heard a lot about you. And he looks at you, Babar.
Who built your temple?
It's a long story, friend. Name's Broudmore, by the way. I don't believe I've...
Barbarith Dobruin.
Barbarith Dobruin. Great to meet ya. It's a long story, actually. This is the one of the freestanding temples of Telenis. Some that people, at least around here, say stood through the Age of Unlight and before. Not many other known locations. I'm not sure if you believe in that sort of thing, but based on what I've been told since becoming a priest here, I suppose it's true.
It is very well done.
I appreciate it. It's a strange stone, not necessarily seen around these parts. I believe they actually brought it from overseas. Actually,
I don't recognize it.
Give me an intelligence check with advantage.
This last word, or
That's a signature. Is you looking
no,
at?
is what? Is coming? Is waiting?
I'm coming.
Is coming?
I think. Let me go read it real quick.
Better than a 1 and a 2.
Sure.
Is it a 2 and a 3?
No.
9 and a 10.
Oh.
So, 12.
Watch.
Okay. Thank you.
That'd be a 12.
Hastily written.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I, Stephen, understood
Yeah,
what that
for
said.
sure. You recognize the craftsmanship immediately. There are very few seams, if any, that you can tell. It is stunning work. You know that it would take a group of artisans of your caliber to even come close to crafting this. You've never seen anything of its like outside of craftsmanship of your variety. But the stone itself, you're not sure.
Where overseas?
Oh, I suppose the legend comes from a small island up north called Ilyrus, actually.
Alyrus.
Yeah.
What is he, a priest?
He's a priest.
So if I interrupted with "Excuse me, Father," that would make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me, Father. Do you know about Clara staying here or with you?
Of course. She's staying up at the second floor. Want me to
I
take you to
was
it?
getting there.
Well, I figured you would want to find out about the stone, and I could go talk to Clara.
Oh.
Of course. You want me to take you to her, or should I just call her down here for the rest of you?
If you wouldn't mind seeing if she'd like to come out here, so everybody could.
Absolutely. Would you like to sit at one of the tables up at the library area?
Sure.
All right. The library's up at the third floor. I believe you two have been. So
Yes,
would you want to show them the way?
That's fine with you, Father.
Of course, of course. I'll go and I'll make preparations ready. I'll get some food and bread. Some water, actually.
I'm going to look at the architecture and then just the building and...
Okay. And you see him kind of scuttle off. Do you, Kylandy and Carter, lead the way up to the third floor?
Yep.
Making your way up this...
Wait, are you not talking to the priest now?
He walked away to get...
Well, then why don't you come to talk to Clara?
Because he's going to see if she can come to us.
Yeah.
We're going upstairs.
We're going upstairs to see her.
Wait for her.
No, we're going to the library to wait for her.
Yeah,
Wait
I'm
for it.
looking at it on the way.
Oh, okay. I thought we were splitting.
I'm not
up.
stopping.
Yeah.
I thought you were staying here, and I was like, "What? No."
Give me a
Don't
perception.
just
You
look at
will
the
do the
wall.
talking. It's fine.
Don't look
That
at the
is
wall.
some Good.
That's a
stonework.
good wall. Give me a perception check.
but-
That's a nice boulder.
That's a nice
Good
boulder.
boulder.
That was a 1 on the perception check. Right?
Lord have mercy, guys. We change up seats for this campaign, and nobody can roll.
Ooh,
I mean, I'm still sitting in the
Was that a
same
1?
that was a 1.
I did not move seats.
It's fine.
You didn't.
I would
Very,
like my
very
old seat
smooth.
back, to be
Again,
honest.
it confirms what you
I
felt.
really,
No
really
seams.
would.
Outside of that,
Over there.
at a certain point, light shines off it and fracks.
I
and
look
just
at
gets
your
in your
seat.
eye very quickly. And you say,
Aw.
It is
Um,
nice stone.
I rolled so good over there.
You all make your way up to the third floor, and are only seated for the better part of a minute and a half before you hear Broudmore talking to another individual on the way up. And, oh yeah, these are great folks. They actually did a great deed for the town. Actually, I'll introduce you to them, and then I suppose I'll be on my way. And you hear a female voice, distinctly female, very, very high, but even as you hear it, there's a huskiness to it. Oh, thank you, Bradmore. I would be very interested in meeting them, actually. So, and as they emerge, you see standing quite tall a woman who is distinctly elven. Very long, tapered ears, tanned skin, almond-shaped eyes, deep, deep blue. Not like a light blue, I'm talking like deep blue. Almost royal blue, or cobalt. Hair is brown, cut in a very short bob around the head itself, ending just at about the collarbone. And reaching high up to just beneath the base of the skull at the rear of the head. She is wearing very deep green clothing with a cloak that is covering what look to be traveling leathers, ending in what are some intricately crafted studded boots that she wears as she travels. And you notice immediately that as she walks, she carries on her back, almost seemingly with her, just a long staff that ends in a gnarled root at the end, extending to what look to be flits of foliage at the end of the staff itself. And as she approaches, her eyes lock on you, and you just immediately sense this warmth of purpose and presence. I'm to understand that you all have done great deeds here, but you've sought something about the Brightwood. Actually.
Clara.
Yes, that is my. Yes, that is my name. You are interesting, quite
Thank
tall.
you.
Let's try differently. Let's introduce ourselves first and then talk. Hi, Clara. My name is Harlan.
Hello, Harlan.
This is Babar, Carter,
Babar.
and Kai.
Carter.
Is that what you want? Kai.
Kai. Pleasure to meet the rest of you. And her eyes linger on you for a moment, Kai, before drifting to the rest of the group. So, and she pulls up a chair.
Can I insight check that look?
What are you looking for?
Just to see, like, why I was looked at?
So, trying to get a sense of, like, the intent?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's that deer, man.
6 was 8, so 18. Gosh, I'm really good at math.
Okay, if he starts laughing his ass off, it is that deer.
Oh. Well, that's awkward.
It is the deer.
You guys are good at
Oh,
guessing.
deer.
So she sits down, she says, "Thank you, Broadmoor, I
Do
appreciate
I?
your assistance." No clue.
Got it.
So,
You were saying I was interesting.
you are, but that's in a good way.
You are from Brightwood.
It is where I've studied for an extended period of time. I'm originally from Curafor's outpost, sitting to the north of the Argent Forest. I made my way to the Brightwood through the Indolari Valley for study with the Verdant Dominions, specifically my own circle.
So can I get to Feywild from Brightwood?
And you see her tilt her head for a moment.
All right, so in order to explain that a little bit more, Alice was trapped in sort of a little pocket of the Feywild.
And she was a small child, yes?
Yes. We got overlaid there, for lack of a better term. We weren't really there, but we could interact with it by a being in the forest here, who has since left.
Where?
He is Vertari.
And her head tilts again.
He informed us, which I seem to think is a reliable source, that the Brightwood is a place where portals have opened to the Feywild in the past.
We have individuals at the Brightwood who possess the ability to travel between the planes, yes.
Are there any natural occurrences?
Then you see her
Such as
sit back and
one that happened on an equinox here?
You see her kind of sit back and absorb, just taking all of the information in stride. Not necessarily, you would see this, Harlan, she's not skeptical.
Right.
She was initially, but then after kind of hearing it from multiple sources, it was the initial impact of, wow, that's a lot of information really quickly. And now she just settles back and begins to think to herself. And you see her begin to just rhythmically, with these very long fingers, kind of tap the table as she thinks. I've read, and when we study there, we understand that it is possible for these sorts of rifts to develop between this plane and the Feywild, and at times even the Shadowfell in particular, although they are seemingly at random. I've not heard of a natural rift occurring in the Brightwood myself, but that does not mean it hasn't happened.
All right. Well, the area where this particular one occurred had ruins of a temple long gone with Sylvan writing on them. Does that match any descriptions of any old ruins in the Brightwood?
And she takes what you're saying. I have questions about the ruins, but in regards to your question...
I'm happy to answer your questions with your answers to mine, thank you.
Absolutely. By
You
my
are good at this.
best recollection...
I've had a lot of practice.
So, the Feywild itself is a tricky place, where the Primaterial Plane exists as a balance, some might say, at the middle of the scale between things that are wild and unpredictable versus the Shadowfell, which some would argue is a place of stasis. Yes? Unchanging patterns. The Feywild is wild and the patterns will always change. The Primaterial Plane is intended to be the fulcrum, where things balance.
Alright, so maybe in that case it wasn't a rhythm that she knew, it was a prediction that she knew.
Again,
of when this one would open here.
I'm not saying that it could not happen. I have just never read about it.
No, I understand that, but you are the most knowledgeable of this that we know of in this
course.
town, so...
Of course, it could happen that this is a place of static Feywild magic. Although it would take... What you're talking about would affect the land around it greatly.
It did.
Where's the ruin?
Jarro's Peak.
That's where we are, isn't it?
Well, it sits about an hour's travel north of here, but I've never thought to study it myself. It's always just seemed to be rather desolate.
Is
It's not supposed to be desolate.
When you get up the mountain is very...
I believe it will come back in time at this point, but there is no one protecting it now.
That worries me.
Clara, if you mind, are you familiar with the Vertari?
I've never heard that name. No. Although I am particularly interested in them now.
Can I insight check that statement that she's never heard the name?
Please.
I'm assuming you are aware
10.
I have my passive going up
Yeah.
at all times. Okay.
10.
Everything so far has seemed above board. This is an individual who's been hit with a bunch of information.
Yep.
The whole thing.
And she's answering nicely, so she's going to get whatever information she wants from me, too.
She is just attempting to help, given what you would gather from your passive, Harlan. She's just attempting to help because you've been helpful.
Clara, do you know of anybody either here or possibly, I'm assuming you want to go to Brightwood,
Yes.
on the way to Brightwood, who has studied these sorts of things, who would be willing to part with some information?
She leans her heads in her hand for a moment, and she...
Anybody in Falstad by chance? Falstad by chance?
Falstad's one of the largest settlements on the way north. Frankly, the only places that I know where we would have scholars of my particular brand of magical inclination...
Or even connections you have, or if you happen to know an old shaman who knows of these things, anything at this point.
Most of the Verdant Dominion, and particularly those in higher ranks, would know. Or at least have some more knowledge than I would. I still myself am an acolyte, traveling the world currently.
So are you sort of like a journeyman?
We all go through our own trials, and it's to...
Is the Verdant Dominion just her tribe of druids, or...
Give me an intelligence check.
So you're basically...
15.
15? It is an organization.
Her calling.
I understand, but that means that there are others who have been studying longer than her and might know more
You're absolutely right.
that we can find.
You mentioned that Falstad's one of the largest settlements on the way.
Trying to get you information, man.
Before the desert, on our way to the Brightwood, would they happen to have some type of library or scholarly education system there? We might be able to do a little bit more
They
research.
have a small place of study, very small.
Okay.
The library at Falstad, if my memory serves, I believe it is. And you must correct. Please forgive me if I get the name wrong. It's been some time. My best recollection is it is called the Cobalt Iris. But again, there is very little written about these things, and most of what was written and was studied at one point has been lost for some time.
Have I heard of the Cobalt Iris before?
Give me an intelligence check.
15.
15? It is a series of libraries. There
runs it?
are...
Would I know?
With that roll, not particularly. You just know that it is a series of but it's very localized.
Okay.
It's not necessarily this massive organization. It is a group of scholars who have attempted to gather whatever information that they have, but their affiliation is unknown.
Okay.
Thus far, you would only know the name because there's one of maybe 2 locations in Tamal.
So we will head to Falstead.
Is that on the way to the Brightwood?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the last major settlement between...
Well, between the Inoli Desert, there are more settlements on the way.
Is that where... Wait, I wouldn't have heard. Was I around for the goblin?
So that's
ending of the
basically
goblin?
the first stop on the way to the Brightwood.
You were not there for that.
Okay.
It's
It's
the
in-
last stop before...
Well,
The desert.
so as you
Or
travel...
am I misunderstanding it? It's a lot.
So it is the last stop before you reach the Unole Desert.
Mhm.
It sits at the point where the Unole is at its most thin. Which is, frankly, how they are able to exist. From there, you will travel northward, and there are a number of small towns and settlements, the names of which I could not tell you, before you reach the Argent Forest, which is the home to my kind. And she kind of smirks and looks around the table.
Elephant person from Feywild. That's literally my notes of what I meant.
Once there, you will be able to travel northward again from the Argent Forest through the Indulari Basin that sits between the Tormund Mountains and, as he consults his notes,
I know that basin, don't I?
yes, it is to the north of... It's where the majority of the beer crop grows.
It's between those 2 mountain ranges, yes?
Mm-hmm. So it's between... I'm finding it right now, sorry guys.
We need that map. Can we travel by map?
Between the Tormund Mountains and the Cygnus Sierras. A fairly fertile land, mostly farmland, before reaching the Brightwood. The journey itself is several hundred miles.
For Harlan's knowledge, is this anywhere near the Tierston territory?
Yes, once you go through the Argent Forest, you would know that that is when it becomes the Tistrum proper, essentially, where there's a little bit more exercise control.
So we're actually traveling right through that.
Once you're there, you're in the bulk of it.
Okay.
Would I be traveling close to home?
Yeah, it'll take you right through it.
And how far away of a travel is it? Like,
When I journeyed, I only was able to journey quickly because of...
oh no, I wasn't asking her. I just
Oh.
meant Harlan knows geography. How long?
Oh. You're talking months. This is a trek.
This is the Ardent Forest and all that is after the desert?
Yeah, you have...
Okay. I just was trying to get it.
So where you sit towards the base peninsula of Anayur, the Brightwood is at the opposite end.
Babarith.
Harlan.
I don't know if you're under a time constraint to get home, but this is going to take a very long time. It is not close. It is months away by land. Does it cut any of it off to go by sea and then cut overland?
Give me an intelligence check with advantage.
It sounds like it would.
Advantage, maybe a 1 and a 2. A 1 and an 8.
Sick.
For a 11.
You would know that the closest port city on that side of the map is in Sio. And there is a significant amount of travel between Port Thorstead and Sio.
But does it cut time off of the travel to sail from Thorstead to Sio and then cut over the map, or is
It'd be difficult to say with certainty, but with that roll, right, it'd be difficult to say with certainty. You'd have a gut feeling that you're traveling by ship, that's faster than walking anyway.
I'm not entirely certain, but it might be quicker to sail to Siro and then travel over land that way.
Whatever is quickest.
Traveling by sea sounds more comfortable.
Comfortable, quickest, I don't think it's not going to be quick. It's going to be more than a few weeks to get you there.
Maybe by ship you might cut off perhaps cut off a month's worth of travel. Maybe, but that's assuming the seas are with you.
But we cannot look for your friend if we are on ocean.
I know. I have to continue that.
We will not encounter others to ask.
It's at this point that she leans forward and she goes,
I'm also not sure of your affiliation, nor your thoughts on the matter. But I feel the strange need to tell you that there is increasing consortium activity at the south of the Argent Forest at this time. Based on my interactions with individuals in the area, there's been a mass movement of some of the people of power, representatives of the different governing sects of the larger whole. I've not been called yet. I know the Verdant Dominion has not been contacted, which has led our leaders to... Well, unfortunately, it has led our leaders in a bit of a distrust. But there is tell of strange activity occurring at the northern end of the Argent Forest, towards Carafor's outpost, which unfortunately is my home, but I've been tasked to not go there yet.
How does she feel about when she's talking about the consortium?
Give me an insight check.
Was it Carafor's
Outpost.
18?
18?
I don't think I rolled over a 10 on my high.
I haven't seen one.
It's that side of the table.
I need to move back.
Okay.
You almost sat in your chair and then we...
I'm not sure your thoughts on the matter. I frankly myself don't mind arcane magic, and I'm not necessarily sure why there is this...
You and Steven can switch next week.
Oh gosh.
I'm not sure why there is this sort of... There is some sort of distrust in the larger cities, which is why the consortium is seeming to place themselves there. But I for one don't see why. I think it could be incredibly helpful.
I am from the Feywild. Is normal.
She looked at you for a moment, and you see very, very briefly her eyes.
I believe you.
She said there was a lot of activity near the Brightwood?
Near the Argent Forest.
Okay.
She says,
If you would not mind, might I inform those at the Dominion of your presence here?
Why?
Good answer, good answer.
Frankly, my friend, because if you are here and from the Feywild, would you not want to know if there were others like you here as well?
of. It would be nice to know.
Then, with your permission, I will tell them.
Do not speak my name.
I will not. I will call you friend.
Friend.
Good. One moment.
And she leans her head back for a moment, and you see a very deep green energy just lance over her eyes ever so slightly. Her mouth mutters a few words, very, very few, and as she leans forward...
Do I know what she's doing?
Give me an Arcana check.
13.
You would recognize the casting, you are not familiar with the spell.
Okay.
She leans forward.
They are aware. They are very interested in meeting you, should you make your way to the Brightwood. Specifically, if you make your way there,
Give me a name. Come on.
I do not want to throw you so deep within the Verdant Dominion, my friend. So I'm going to ask you for your thoughts on the matter. And understand, even though we've just met, I do only have your best interest at heart.
And I yours.
Oddly enough, weird question to ask now. Do I have any knowledge of the Verdant Dominion as a group?
Give me a history check.
All of my dice hate me. 5.
5. You've heard the name. You're not necessarily familiar with the function. Sorry. Let me go ahead and find it, because you guys are making me dig deep lore stuff, by the way.
No, I'm not. I'm rolling 1s and 2s. Do I at least know them for being like Switzerland and neutral or anything like that? Or?
So in general,
that?
like
No.
if you're thinking of, so with that role, thinking specifically about how they function, or like more information about them kind of in the moment, you're like, well, I know they're an organization, but you would know that they, whenever they are brought up, they are generally well liked.
Okay. So they're not a totally bad charity.
Mage hand, yes.
Would you like to meet the individuals at the center of power? Or would you like to meet those who sit on the fringe, who might be able to act faster?
Harlan.
Both have advantages. One will not be able to act without going through steps. The other might not know as much, but will be able to act quickly.
Who are these individuals? The seats of power. The seats in your organization?
Yes, in the Verdant Dominion there is something that is called the Miraton Council that sit at the center of power, a representative from each of the circles of druidic
Is that
magic.
in-game?
No.
What?
Nothing.
Who did you tell about me?
I told a close and trusted friend.
I heard the word council.
Then
and I
tell
just
me
went,
who
no.
they are.
Her name,
Didn't have such luck with the last council.
her name is Zartir. If you ask for her by name, it is Zartir Wildbranch. It is a new name she has taken. She is one of my closest friends and a dear, dear mentor.
She is in Brightwood.
She is
She's a member of the council or the fringe?
She is currently working her way past
Well, you referred to me as a journeyman, Harlan, before. That is indeed what I am. However, we are called something different. In Sylvan, what we are called is Kiranos. K-I-R-A-N-O-S.
K-I-R-N-O-S.
The direct translation from Sylvan is traveler.
Would I understand that without
me-
saying it?
So I'd say, for this particular thing, I'd say give me an insight check.
Or should I say it and just, they're what?
Give me an insight.
Kiranos?
Kiranos.
Finally!
Maybe when it counts.
25.
Oh, I'm getting steps in today.
All the way around the table.
Bring it around town. I rolled a 2.
4.
Just roll
Oh, just rolled a 2.
Just roll a d8.
You're just letting you know.
Yeah.
Wait, no. I think I understood you wrong.
Rolling d8s.
The intent is not odd, it's odd about it.
No, so the intent is not odd.
Okay,
It is
I
odd that
get
you
it now.
have that.
Okay.
Yes, you are correct in that interpretation. Kiranos means traveler. We are all sent on a traveling to begin our journey. From there, we become our own. Our path continues. We are selected and grow within our chosen circle. She is the next step above me, which is called Sildur. S-I-L-D-U-E-R. It is another word in Sylvan. From there, the next steps are to be selected, be given our own. The next steps there are to go to the council. It is a long and arduous process, only undertaken by those who have spent a great deal of time in study and proven their purity of purpose.
Only tell her, and we will find her.
I have, and she will tell no one else.
And she's in the Brightwood?
Currently, yes, she is the representative of the circle that I represent, which is the Circle of the Moon.
Okay, and she is aware of how far away we are.
She is.
Still leaves the question, how are we planning on getting there? This is hundreds of miles.
Several hundred, close to 1,000 actually.
I mean, we can get beasts of burden, horses, but that's still going to take us an awful long time.
I cannot ride horse.
We could walk.
We can walk. That's going to take a long time.
We could go by ship.
We could go by ship, but we're still looking at months.
For at least part of it, till I forgot the name of the town.
So you have two
Yeah.
options. By land, by land there are a number of towns. By sea, you would be a direct port to Sio, S-I-Y-O.
I told you I'd help you get home, and I want to see that promise through. So whichever route you decide to go, we can do it. I just know that
The sea will be faster,
the sea will be a little faster,
assuming the sea is with us.
but I know that you want to go home as fast as possible. I just don't want to set you up for any unrealistic expectations. It may just take a while.
Is it just us up here in the library?
Currently, Broadmoor has left you alone. Yes.
But there's nobody else.
Looking around, I mean, all of you would have a sense that it's a fairly quiet locale. Most of the citizenry who had traveled to the town have left at this point as you're approaching mid-afternoon in this conversation.
Happy hour. They're not going to be in the temple.
Not in the library.
They don't come to the temple on happy hours.
That's his thinking noise, actually.
Interesting.
Carter,
Yes?
you did say you would help me get home,
I did.
but you also said you are not special.
I did?
So why would you be helpful?
This feels like a personal conversation.
Yeah,
I might leave for this.
Clara, would you like to get your information about the temple that we saw now?
I would.
And I can leave them to
Absolutely.
talk about
yes.
whatever it is they're about
Perhaps
to talk about.
Kyle Andy would like to join us as well.
Andy probably has some recollections I don't, yes.
Perfect. Then shall we step away
Would you
into
like
study?
to come with us? Sorry, dude, that's like every time if somebody's walking out this room, you're getting kicked out.
Is he saying this out loud?
No, so she's saying this out loud.
No, it's Harlan saying.
Yeah, Harlan's saying it out.
I suppose.
Natural 20 on an insight check. Why is he leaving?
To tell her about that and not be around the awkward that's about to happen.
That is 100% true. So I will say with this.
This
offer
sounds
on the
like a
board-
private conversation, so.
Yeah, I will say in the interest of time, with that offer on the board, and
Next week.
The incredible revelations that have occurred thus far, we are going to call that a session this evening. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for coming and playing.
Oh my god.
Thank you for tuning in. That was incredible, guys. Oh my gosh,
Dang.
a lot's happening right now.
We haven't even left yet.
I mean, seriously, a lot's happening.
I haven't stolen anything yet.
Yeah.
We tried.
I tried. Fuck.
You fake thief.
bad.
I fucked it up.
You fake thief.
I'm a fake thief.
That's interesting. It's interesting that you went and talked to Alto. That's really interesting. So yeah. Well, anyway, sorry, I'm still
he's got
online.
the oddities.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate every single one of you. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything. YouTube, please subscribe or hit the follow button on Twitch. Every follow here and every subscribe on YouTube helps. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming and playing.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you,
None
sir.
of this would be possible without you. I appreciate you so much. So for everybody, have a good evening.
Good night.
Tuesdays, am I right?
Am I right?
Tuesdays, am I right?